Now, it's time to have a conversation. Now, in any growing democracy, right, it is important to foster a culture of transparency and accountability. Now, you need to marry this with the constitutional right to access to information. These are the basic underlying principles that gave birth to the Right to Information Act, which was passed in 2019 by Parliament and assented to by the then President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. This act also birthed the Right to Information Commission. The commission is 5 years, and so we want to have a conversation regarding the growth and, of course, if you like, the work of the commission. Joining us to have this conversation is Stephen Owusu. He's the General Manager, Legal Department at the Right to Information Commission. Counsel, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Nana.
Right, you're welcome, welcome. It's good to have you.
Thanks.
Now, let's look at the Act itself, Right to Information Act 2019. Run us through this act briefly.
Okay, so the Right to Information Act is that law passed by Parliament in 2019 to set out the procedures by which persons can enjoy one of the fundamental human rights and freedoms enshrined under the Constitution of Ghana. That is the 1992 Constitution. So when you go under Chapter 5 of the 1992 Constitution, the whole Chapter 5 deals with fundamental human rights and freedoms. Under Article 21, Clause 1F, which was under the Chapter 5, there's a right created called right to information. So the Constitution had done its bit, but we needed a law that would spell out how persons could enjoy this constitutional right. And that is how come the Right to Information Act was passed in 2019. So basically, it is an act to see to the implementation of the constitutional right of access to information and to promote transparency and accountability, as you did mention in your introduction. So in sum, that is what the Right to Information Act is about.
But if the Constitution already provides or grants this right, why the need to pass another law to enforce it?
Okay, so the Constitution will give the right in broad terms, but we will need a legal framework that would provide the details of how persons can enjoy the constitutional right. So, in fact, the Right to Information Act is one of the laws we have in Ghana that took so long in coming. In 1997, and this is to answer your question, in 1997, the Institute for Economic Affairs, IEA, decided to test that constitutional right of access to information. So they made an application to the Bank of Ghana for certain pieces of information. They were denied. And that denial actually kick-started agitation for us to have a legal framework, a legislation that would spell out the modalities by which persons can enjoy the right to information. So if you look at the history of the Act itself, your question will be answered. It was because of that denial, that the IEA and other civil society organizations that came together to form the Right to Information Coalition felt that we needed to show us the way we could enjoy that constitutional right to information.
Good stuff. Now let's look at, now we have the act has been passed, it's been assented to, but it gave birth to the commission. So what is the mandate of the commission?
When you go under Section 40 of the Act, it establishes the Right to Information Commission and gives it the mandate to protect, to promote, to monitor and to enforce that constitutional right of access to information. So that is the mandate of the Commission, to protect the right to information, to promote the right to information, to monitor the right to information, and to enforce the right to information. So everything the Commission has been doing so far within the last 5 years is geared towards this broad mandate of protecting, promoting, monitoring, and enforcing right to information.
Right. So let's look at the practicality of saying, I need information from an institution, say a ministry or a government agency. Do I route this request through the commission, or I would make the request directly? When I'm denied is when I fall on the commission?
Yes. You first have to apply to whatever institution you think holds the information.
Right.
Okay. And when you are denied, that is when you come to the commission. But having asked this question, let me use the opportunity to educate viewers.
Well.
When you go under Section 18 of the law, it makes provision for the application process. And it's a very simple process, actually. It says that your application must be in writing.
Okay.
Okay, so any form of writing. It could be email, okay? It could be writing in ink.
Pen to paper.
Yes, pen to paper, so to speak.
Right.
Okay, and in your written application, you must be able to describe the information you are looking for. It's fair, just so that the public institution can get the information for you. You must also indicate the manner of access. How do you want to be furnished with the information? Is it by photocopy? Is it by scan? Do you want to be invited to come and inspect the information?
Right.
So you must indicate the manner of access. Then you must attach proof of identity.
Okay.
Okay, so it could be your Ghana card. Okay, and then you must sign or thumbprint. But then
the identity bit, is this because the right is reserved for Ghanaians only?
No, no. In fact, Section 1, subsection 1, the very first provision of the Act says that a person has the right to information.
Okay, so
It
it
does
doesn't
not
qualify.
discriminate
That's not described
on any grounds. And we've been explaining this. Okay, we've been explaining this. So a person is a person. Okay, a person can be a Ghanaian or a foreigner. A person can be a male or a female. A person can be an adult or a child. There's no discrimination. Okay, so after complying with this application process, let me add, even before I continue, assuming you are applying on behalf of another person,
okay,
then aside what I have indicated so far, okay, there's also the added responsibility for you to indicate the capacity in which you make the application on behalf of that person.
Okay. Okay.
And then you submit this application to the public institution. But you know, I began by saying that application per Section 18 of the law has to be in writing. But that does not also mean that if you cannot write, you are excluded.
Okay.
Okay. When you go under Section 18, subsection 2 of the law, it makes provision for persons who cannot write, either due to illiteracy or disability, some form of disability, to walk to the public institution, then speak to an officer called the information officer. So every public institution under the law has to have an information officer whose duty is to receive the application on behalf.
Ideally.
Yes. Ideally, we will come to that. Okay, whose duty is to receive the application on behalf of the public institution and take steps to respond to the application. So this person who cannot read or write has to walk to the institution, speak to this information officer, tell the information officer the information he or she is looking for. And it is a duty of this information officer to take down the oral application in writing and then read over and explain to this person, to this applicant, in a language the person understands.
Right.
And then there must be a witness.
Okay.
Okay, a witness around who would then endorse on the face of this oral application, which has been taken down in writing, that indeed I was there when the applicant came and made the oral application, which the information officer took down in writing and explained to the applicant in a language the applicant understands. And the applicant appeared to have understood before either signing or thumbprinting. We lawyers call this a jurat.
Okay.
Okay, so for those who cannot write, either by reason of illiteracy or disability, this is the process put down by the law. So nobody is left out. Now, when the public institution receives this application, acting through the information officer, the public institution has 14 days within which to take a decision on the application and serve a notice on the applicant. And the notice could be that, yes, after examining your application, we think you are entitled to the information. And so the public institution, through the information officer, will tell you how much you have to pay for the information, because there's a fee.
Right.
And then the decision may also be that we think you are not entitled to the information you are asking for.
But how do you determine that?
Okay. So there are exemptions under the law.
Okay.
And the law requires that if the decision is that an applicant is not entitled to the information, the information officer has to give a reason.
Okay.
The information officer doesn't just say that we think you are not entitled. There must be a reason assigned. The decision may well be that, well, after examining your application, we think you are entitled to only parts of the information you are asking for. In which case, the information officer will have to give a reason why the other part cannot be given. So after serving this notice on the applicant within 14 days, if the applicant is dissatisfied, the law says that the applicant has the right to appeal to the head of the institution in an internal review application. And when the head receives this internal review application, the head of the institution has up to 15 days within which to take a decision.
Right.
Assuming the head does not respond at all, the law says that it should be deemed an affirmation of the information officer's decision to deny access.
Oh,
okay. And then the applicant can come to the Right to Information Commission.
Right, very well. So the information officer has 14 days to respond.
Yes.
And then if it goes for a review up to the head of the institution, he has 15 days.
15 days. But you know, between the time of the information officer decision and the time an applicant makes an internal review application, the law says that the applicant has 30 days within which to make the internal review application to the head. And when it gets to the head, or after the internal review application, the head has up to 15 days.
Right. We'll look at the ideals, the ideal situations in this matter. What should be, according to the law, what exists now, and how we are dealing with that. We'll go into it. But let's look back 5 years now since the Commission's establishment. What would you say has been the most impactful achievement of the Commission?
For us at the Commission, we think the knowledge about the law we have been able to impart, and it's an ongoing process, we have been able to impart so far to the people about the Right to Information Act, what their rights and obligations are under the Act. For us, that is the biggest challenge, because more and more people are now getting to understand, appreciate the law. Now, this is a human rights law.
Indeed.
Okay. Yeah. And so we rolled out right from the get-go. We rolled out a massive sensitization as a law. In fact, that is part of the Commission's mandate under Section 45 of the law, as part of the promotion of right to information, to sensitize the public. So we visited all 16 regions. And everywhere we go, we hold a forum, a public forum, and we invite a cross-section of the public, from schools, students to market women, all public institutions, media houses. And we engage them, we take our time, we do PowerPoint presentation, taking the public through every section in the law, explaining, giving examples, and allowing them to ask questions. So we've told all 16 regions. And aside that, we've been doing institutional sensitization, which I said is an ongoing exercise, where we avail ourselves to public institutions to sensitize management and staff. So it's an ongoing exercise. Even as I speak, today we have a session of our officers going out to some institutions to sensitize management and staff. We have a whole department in charge of that. We call that department Enforcement, Investigations and Compliance Department. So they sensitize. So for us, that is our biggest achievement, to get more and more people to understand the law. And we say that we are making a huge impact in that respect because of the volumes of application that public institutions are receiving and the complaints we've been receiving. The more complaints we receive, it means more and more people are using the law. Okay.
I was going to ask about how you gauge that.
Yes. Yes. So as I said, that department, the EIC, Enforcement, Investigations, Compliance. Okay. So they also go out to monitor compliance. And under the law, when you go under Section 77 of the law, it gives a mandate for public institutions to compile annual reports on their right to information activities and submit same to the Commission. And the Commission has up to 30th June of every year. That's what the law says. To present a report to Parliament.
Okay.
Okay. And that should tell you how Parliament views the law. So every year, Parliament expects us by 30th June to report to them on the progress made so far. Okay. So under Section 77, we receive annual reports from all public institutions regarding their right of information activities within the year. So from the data, we are able to gauge the progress, how people are using the law. We use a lot of matrices to judge how people are using the law. So that is one of our biggest achievements. And as we speak, we are 5 years, but for the past 2 years, we've been in Kumasi for the Ashanti region. So we have an office there.
Oh, okay.
We are in Sunyane for Bono. We are in Bolga, okay, and we are ready to move to Cape Coast.
Wow.
Okay, but for financial constraints, by the end of this year, we should have been ready to roll out in 5 more regions. Okay, but because of financial constraints.
Do you generate funds internally?
And how? Yes, under Section 60 of the law, there are 3 sources of funds for the commission. So budgetary allocation, we are a public institution, so what we get from the government, which thus far has been the main source of funds for the commission.
Adequate?
Certainly not. We are in Ghana. There's no public institution. There's no public institution
that is adequately resourced.
It gets enough. It gets enough. Well,
but at the survey, if like the disbursements timely.
Again, we are not isolated. Okay. When I complain, it means all public institutions are complaining. Okay. There's always room for improvement. We can always expect to have things done better. But of course, we also know that hundreds of public institutions are feeding from the same bowl. So the budgetary allocation is one of the sources of funds under Section 60. And then we have administrative penalties. Okay. So the Act gives the Commission the power to impose administrative penalties on defaulting public institutions. Okay. So far, we've been imposing administrative penalties. You've been following the news. Okay. You hear the Right to Information Commission slapping administrative penalty on Ghana Police, on the NIB, and those institutions. So we've been imposing administrative penalties. But let me hasten to add that so far, since 2022, when we started imposing administrative penalties, we've not been able to access any part of it because there are formalities we need to go through to get clearance from the Finance Ministry as to how much of it we can keep as internally generated funds for the activities of the Commission. We have not been able to cross that hurdle yet. So
why? Since 2022?
Yes.
The 3 years?
Yes.
And
yes.
It's just unnecessary bureaucracies. What is causing this delay?
Yes, we sent our letter, okay, somewhere last year, okay, but the approval didn't come. This year we are following up, okay, and then we've had series of engagements, but we are picking positive signals from the Minister for Finance that we will soon get the clearance. So, in fact, everything we have collected so far by way of administrative penalties is there, it's intact.
Where?
Okay, there's a lodgement account. It's part of the procedure. Okay, you don't keep it, you lodge it because it doesn't belong to you yet. Okay, there has to be determined how much of it you can take and how much you go into the consolidated fund. Right. Okay, so there's a lodgement account for that. Okay, and then the third source of funding.
Sorry, are you able to give us an idea of how much has been lodged so far?
Yes, so far, roughly, okay, top of my head, let's say close to 4 million Ghana cedis.
You don't say?
I mean it.
Administrative penalties?
Yes. And I'm the head of legal. That is my duty for the commission, okay? To go to court to enforce the administrative penalties imposed on institutions when they are not paying. So as I speak, last 2 days I was in court. On Monday I was in court. On Monday alone we had about 6 cases.
Wow.
Okay, yes. So so far, top of my head, about 4 million Ghana cedis. Then the third source of funding per Section 60 is donations.
Okay.
Okay. donations. So we always try to see how best we can get other sources of funding from well-wishers to supplement whatever we've been receiving from the government so far.
Obviously, in any human institution or any human endeavor, there will be some challenges, some setbacks.
Yes.
So what has been some of the challenges in the implementation of the RTI law?
Okay, I think I just finished with the very first one.
The funding.
Yes, we should always be the first one since we are a public institution.
Right.
Funding is always an issue. Because, Nana, you know what? You look at the nature of the commission and the commission's mandates, and it's in everybody's interest that the commission becomes totally independent. Of course, the Act says we are independent. Okay, so we don't answer to any institution. We are not under any ministry. But then your true independence should also come by way of funding.
True.
Okay, so it is our hope that a time will come when we will be in a position to wean ourselves off government funding. Okay, because yes, we are independent. So far, we've demonstrated that independence. But in as much as you continue to feed from the government pot, okay, even you see, by way of perception, people may not think you are that independent, but we are, okay. And so that is our hope that a time will come when we will be able to generate enough funds and then wean ourselves off.
Right. Okay. So now I think we can zoom in into the 5-year anniversary. What's our theme for the year, and what accounted or what went into the formation of this theme? Okay.
So the theme for the 5-year anniversary is RTIC. That is Right to Information Commission. RTIC at 5. Okay. Championing transparency and accountability through access to environmental information in a digital era.
Okay.
A mouthful.
Yeah, but two things stand out for me in there. Environmental information and digital era. Right.
Yes. So the United Nations has set aside 28th September every year as the International Day for Universal Access to Information.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And since the Commission came into being, we've been joining the UN to celebrate this day. In fact, last year, Ghana hosted the event, and that was the first time an African country was hosting it. This year, it was held in the Philippines, I think.
Okay.
Manila. We joined the international community. The theme for this year's IDUA Day, we call it IDUA Day, International Day for Universal Access to Information. The theme for this year's IDUA Day bordered on environmental information. So we decided to flow along with that theme, okay, environmental information in a digital era. And we think environmental information, because it is topical.
True.
Because it is topical, that is why the UN deemed it the appropriate theme to use for this year's International Day for Universal Access to Information. And back home in Ghana,
of course,
okay, we can relate.
True.
We can relate.
True.
Okay.
True.
There's the biggest menace now we've all been discussing, trying to find solutions to, is the Galamsey menace.
Indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the environment, aside the impact of Galamsey on the environment, we survive on the environment. So the environment gives us survival when it comes to climate change.
Yeah.
You see, when it comes to sustainable use of our resources, everything borders on how we manage our environment. So we think that it is important the Commission takes this up, educates the public to know the essence of keeping the environment, and to know the institutions that are accountable for managing our environment.
Right.
And to empower them with the act to go to these institutions, request for information. That is one aspect of the fight we seem to be ignoring. Yes, the government and policy makers may be trying to put in place mechanisms to fight Galamsey and all that. But if people, okay, get to know the right institutions to go to ask for information about Galamsey and all that, you see, the distraction to our water bodies, forest cover and all that, okay, that will play a crucial role in the fight against the Galamsey menace. Because public institutions will set up, public officers will set up. Because people will come and ask for information about their management of the environment. Go to EPA, ask. Go to the Ministry for Science and Environment, okay?
Forestry Commission.
Yes, Forestry Commission. Ask what they are doing, okay? Get to know the extent of destruction being rigged on the environment, okay? So when people get empowered this way, they put public institutions to account, okay? And through that, we can achieve the transparency we want. Then through this empowerment also, citizens can engage in civic discussion about the problem, okay? And we push the frontiers of our governance.
Very well.
So it is very crucial. Then the digital era.
True.
That's the second aspect. Okay, digital era, because that is what runs the world now.
Yeah, we can't run away from it.
Yes, we can. We can't, whether we like it or not. That is how information is disseminated. The most effective way we get information. So we at the Commission look to ensure that public institutions that are responsible for managing the environment who do what we term as proactive disclosure.
Okay.
Willingly put out as much information about the environment as possible.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Put such information on your social media handles. Put such information on your websites. Okay. So that people can easily access the information. And when people get this information, they can then put you to account.
Wonderful. Now let's look at some of the activities that have been earmarked for the celebration.
Okay, so what we are doing now is one of the activities, media engagement.
Okay.
Okay, so from last 2 weeks, okay, we've been visiting a number of media houses, and we are very grateful to ChannelOne for giving us this opportunity to engage the public. So the media
public
engagement,
service, yes, of course.
That is it. See?
Yeah.
So the media engagement is one of the activities. Then next week, Thursday, which is 23rd October, we are having a stakeholder engagement.
Okay.
And we are expecting the president to be in attendance. We are inviting all stakeholders. So I believe ChannelOne will either you have already received or you will surely receive your invitation. All stakeholders are coming for us to do stock taking. Okay, 5 years of RTIC. We are focusing on the environment. Okay, what have we done right within the 5 years we've been in existence as a commission? What do we need to do? Let's hear from the stakeholders. There will be panel discussions, okay? Tell us how we can improve upon our work. Tell us how the commission's work can be steered towards ensuring the transparency and accountability we all aim for. So that will be for 23rd October. Then 26th October, there will be a Thanksgiving service. Okay, and to thank God for how far He has brought us within the 5 years.
Right.
Then we have a series of activities meant for team bonding, okay, for the staff. Okay, but those activities have been pushed to the end of the year.
Okay, great. So I'm sure by now you've taken into account what the 5 years for you have been like, for which reason, of course, you're going to thank God.
Yes.
But what's the outlook for the next 5 years? For
the next 5 years, let me answer your question this way, Nana. Last 2 years, we launched a 5-year strategic plan.
Oh, okay.
So we are still looking to implement what we aimed at achieving within the next 5 years. So one of those things is building capacity, capacity of the staff of the commission. Okay. Then adopting digital tools and ICT tools to facilitate access to information. So you see the digital era we are talking about, and then trying to put in place systems that will make it easy for people not to even walk to public institutions to submit applications for information. Okay, we have all these planned out. Okay, and then we are hoping to get funding to roll out such platforms where people can easily log on, have access to an application process, and then have access to any public institution they want to direct that application process to. We also aimed at, within the 5 years, expanding to at least 5 more regions. Okay. And as I said, but for financial constraints, okay, we should have been in 5 more regions by the end of this year. And let me thank the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, which has been magnanimous to give us some of their facilities in 4 regions. Okay. So in Sekondi, in Ho, that's the Sekondi for Western, Ho
for Volta.
Yeah, for Volta, Tamale for Northern, and then Koforidua for Eastern. Okay. And the one I said we are ready to move into in Cape Coast. Yes, we rented from Ghana Post. But even with Cape Coast, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation availed for us a space. Although we felt that space wasn't big enough to accommodate us, so we decided then to rent from Ghana Post.
Right. I'll have a few final questions for you, but some messages are coming in. I just want to bring it to your attention, and then we'll see. RTI officers at district and municipal assemblies face resource constraints, limiting the ability to effectively implement their right to information law. There should be an established fund to support their activities. This is Amino from Nsawam.
Okay, now let me respond to that.
Briefly.
You see, the law under Section 3 mandates public institutions to have information units headed by information officers. Okay. So that is the responsibility of public institutions. But you know, when the law was passed, even before the commission came into existence, the Information Services Department of the erstwhile Information Ministry, took it upon itself to recruit and train information officers and post them to public institutions. So as we speak now, about 80% or more of the information officers we have in public institutions are staff of the ISD, the Information Services Department. They created an office called the ATI Division, Access to Information Division. Okay. So when it comes to the, of course, there were some public institutions that rejected the information officers trained by the ISD and recruited their own, because the law puts that responsibility on public institutions. Okay. So when it comes to the resourcing, the commission can only come in to monitor, and that is what we have been doing, to monitor, to ensure that these information units exist in various public institutions, and then public institutions have information officers in place. See, when it comes to lacking the resources to work, we are a bit handicapped there, because we only come in to ensure that your information unit is up to standard. It has the equipment, photocopiers, scanners. You see, this equipment suited for receiving applications and responding to applications, and that there's an information officer. Okay. Yeah, and the commission has been monitoring that.
Very well. My final one to you is on accessibility. Through which channels or mediums can institutions or individuals, access or contact the Right Information Commission?
Okay, so we are very active on all social media platforms. On Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube. You can get us at RTIC Ghana.
RTIC Ghana.
Okay. In small letters. RTIC Ghana. Then on LinkedIn, Right to Information Commission, spelled together.
Right. So I think that's what we're displaying on the screens now.
On LinkedIn, Right to Information Commission. Then our website is there, www.rtic.gov.gh. Then our email is also very active. RTI Commission at rtic.gov.gh.
Very well. Zosu, thank you so much. This has been good. Like I said, public service. We need to put the information out there. We need to educate the public on the Right to Information law and, of course, the activities of the Right to Information Commission. Thank you so much, and we wish you all in the celebration of your 5 years anniversary.
Thank you for having us, and we expect to find ChannelOne there on Thursday at the stakeholder engagement.
We'll be there. All right, Stephen Owusu is the head of legal at the Right Information Commission, and he's been helping us with the education, the awareness creation on the Right to Information law, and of course the operations and activities of the Right to Information Commission. It is their 5th year anniversary, and we wish them so well.